Gentlemen, if you've noticed things in your relationship starting to feel off, it's time to face the truth. There are unforgivable red flags that point to her being unfaithful, and you can't ignore them any longer. In today's video, I'm revealing the 5 red flags that prove she's hiding something big, and you need to catch them before it's too late. Don't wait for the betrayal to get worse. Trust me, these red flags are impossible to miss. Hit subscribe, like this video, and tell me, where are you watching from? Drop your city in the comments. Let's dive in. Red flag. 1. She's suddenly overly secretive about her phone. Have you noticed her being extra protective of her phone lately? She's locking it more often, texting in another room, or refusing to let you see it when you ask. These are all signs that she's hiding something from you. Take Mike, 59, who started to realize that his wife's phone had become her new secret world. She would never leave it unattended anymore, and when he asked about it, she'd become defensive. "Why do you need to see my phone?" she'd reply. Mike had always trusted her, but now there was an air of secrecy surrounding it. When he got to glance at her screen, he saw a text conversation that didn't make sense. The name was unfamiliar, and the messages seemed too intimate. The issue wasn't just the secrecy, it was the reaction to any inquiry. If she were just texting a friend, there would be no need to hide it. But when her phone becomes a fortress, changing passwords, deleting messages, or reacting aggressively when you ask, it's a huge red flag. Now, let's be clear. Everyone deserves privacy, but if she's acting like the phone is off limits for no good reason, it's time to question why. When a partner is emotionally or physically involved with someone else, their phone is often the first line of defense. It's the hiding place for their guilty conversations. But this isn't the only way she's trying to keep you in the dark. What's next is even more dangerous and harder to detect. Stay tuned. Red flag 2. She starts picking fights over small things. If you've noticed that she's suddenly getting irritated or picking fights over trivial matters, it's time to pay attention. When a woman is emotionally checked out of the relationship or hiding something, she often becomes more irritable and sensitive to the smallest things. Take Jim, 61, who started to see this shift in his wife after she came back from a weekend trip. At first, it seemed harmless, a minor disagreement about how he left his shoes by the door. But soon, it escalated into regular arguments over things that never used to be an issue. "Why don't you ever take the trash out on time?" Or, "You never listen to me." Jim couldn't understand what was happening. They hadn't had these kinds of fights in years. Here's the reality. Picking fights over the smallest things is often a defense mechanism. She's frustrated, but it's not about the trash or the shoes. It's about the emotional distance that's been building between you. It's easier for her to shift the blame and focus on your flaws than confront the real problem, the fact that she's already emotionally investing in someone else. The constant tension can also be a way for her to justify her actions, redirecting the focus onto you instead of her behavior. It's classic deflection. By making you feel like the problem, she avoids addressing the underlying issues, which are much harder to face. But this isn't just about a few petty arguments. What she does next to keep the distance between you may be even more manipulative. Stay tuned. What comes after this is a game changer. Red flag 3. She's more interested in girls' nights than time with you. You've probably started to notice how frequently she's going out with the girls lately. At first, it might seem harmless, a few nights out with friends to blow off steam. But when those nights out start to happen every weekend, and she's more excited about them than spending time with you, it's time to take a closer look. Take David, 60, who started seeing a pattern with his wife's girls' nights. She was always looking forward to them and was quick to disappear for the weekend. At first, he supported her having some time with friends, but then it became clear. These outings were happening more and more, and the details she gave were vague. When he asked about what they did, her responses were always generic. Just a fun night out, nothing special. David realized he hadn't seen her this excited about anything in years. The truth? She's avoiding being home, avoiding you, because her emotional energy is being invested elsewhere. These girls' nights are likely cover-ups for something more serious. When a woman is emotionally or physically involved with someone else, the last thing she wants is to spend time with the partner she's lying to. These nights out are her escape, a way to get away from confrontation and guilt, all while keeping her secret intact. But here's the thing, these trips aren't just random, they're calculated. She's making sure her time with you is replaced. What's even more concerning, the next behavior she uses to cover her tracks is even harder to spot. Stay with me. Red flag 4. She becomes unnaturally concerned with her appearance. Have you noticed that she's suddenly paying more attention to how she looks? Maybe she's dressing differently, spending more time getting ready for mundane tasks, or buying clothes she never would have considered before. While everyone likes to look good, when this change feels extreme or out of character, it's a red flag that shouldn't be ignored. Take Brian, 55, who noticed his wife started putting much more effort into her appearance, even when she had no real plans. She began spending extra time at the gym, wearing new outfits, and even experimenting with a new hairstyle. When Brian asked her about it, she casually said, "I just want to feel better about myself." At first, Brian didn't think much of it, but then it became more apparent. She was dressing up for simple errands, wearing makeup when they were just hanging out at home, and even buying clothes she used to avoid. It didn't take long for him to realize she was trying to look good for someone else. This sudden concern with appearance is often a sign that she's trying to impress someone new. When a woman is emotionally or physically involved with another man, she wants to look attractive for him, whether it's subconsciously or intentionally. She's trying to regain validation from someone other than you, and it's not just about self-esteem. It's about drawing attention from someone she finds exciting. But what happens when this newfound obsession with looks isn't enough to hide her actions? The next red flag is even more revealing, and it will leave you questioning everything. Stick around, because things are about to get even more complicated. Red flag 5. She's emotionally withdrawn, but more sensitive to criticism. Have you noticed how she's become emotionally distant, yet reacts explosively when you question her behavior? It's like she's shutting you out, but when you bring up any concerns, she suddenly becomes defensive or overly sensitive. If she's pulling away emotionally, but snapping at you when you ask about it, it's a sign that something deeper is going on. Take Jason, 59, who started to feel a shift in his wife's emotional availability. She was no longer as engaged in their conversations and would often retreat to her phone or another room when he tried to talk. But when Jason tried to address it, her reaction was dramatic. "Why are you always accusing me of something? I'm not the problem here," she'd snap, turning the tables on him. Jason's attempt to have a calm conversation about their relationship was always met with resistance. Her sudden defensiveness wasn't just about the small issues he was raising. It was about her needing to deflect the truth. She didn't want to confront the reality of her emotional disconnection, so she made him feel like he was the problem. This is one of the most insidious red flags. Instead of acknowledging her withdrawal, she turns the focus back on you, making you feel guilty for bringing it up. Here's the thing, her emotional distance and defensiveness are tactics to avoid facing what she's really doing. See you in the next video.